What's going on, everybody? We are ramping up for the RLCS Rally Major. And so I decided let's get into some power rankings now that 3v3s are officially over, except for the last chance qualifier and majors and worlds and whatnot. I wanted to see how we're looking headed into that Rally Major. What can we expect? Who's going to make top 8? Who's going to make top 4? Who's going to be those gatekeeper teams? And speaking of gatekeeper teams, we're going to start with number 10, who I think is Gen G Mobile One Racing. Ever since the addition of Justin, Magic Bear, and Cheese have looked like a new caliber of player. They've looked like they can actually compete for that top 8 spot versus before. No knock on Reddles, but they looked like a round 5 team that definitely wasn't going to win their round 5 matchup. But now with Justin, he's obviously been putting in the work. He's talked about it in his interview. He's been putting past like 120 hours past 2 for the past like year he was talking about. And you can tell. And I really hope at the major we have pop-off Justin moments in an American major. It could be super hype. I hope they make top 8, but I do expect them really to be another gatekeeper team who could make top 8, but probably won't. Just because it is so stacked at this major. It's probably one of the most stacked majors we've ever had. And the team that barely edged them out, in my opinion, has got to be Gentlemates Alpine, because they've looked super good with the addition of Eugen. Almost similar to Gen G in a way. I think people forgot how good Juicy and Seiko were on this team, because last split they were making up for a lot, trying to cover mistakes. That's nothing on Radosin, who they had. It just wasn't a very good team fit. But ever since the addition of Eugen, Juicy and Seiko have been able to pop off and have their moments, their crazy shots. And this team really has the chemistry, and Eugen is comfortable, which is super important in a team. And hopefully, the reason why I'm still a little skeptical is because we haven't seen Eugen on LAN. But we have seen Seiko and Juicy on LAN, and they've done really, really well in person. Just last year, they won the first major of the year. And that could honestly happen again if they really, really peak. But I think they'll be in a similar boat as Gen G, where they might make top 8. They could make top 8, but I can't quite predict it just because of the teams ahead. But one of the teams just ahead has got to be Space Station Gaming here, because they have been consistent. Last split, when they had Frosty, they weren't consistent, right? They made the grand finals of the first open, and then they missed the main event of the second open. But ever since the addition of Kofer, they've took it up a notch. They've took their floor up a notch. Their peak has probably stayed about the same. If anything, it's gone up a little bit. But their floor, which is more important for this team, has raised. They made the grand final at this last open and won in a sweep against the Ultimates. It's going to be interesting watching this team at the major. I replied to a Bel Air tweet where he was asking about this team and where do you think they're gonna place at the major, and I just put, I have no idea. They could be last. They could win the whole thing. I don't think either of those will happen, but I just have no idea how to rank them. So right now I'm putting them in a top 8 spot. I think they can make it, but it's all going to depend on how well they do on LAN in person. Their coach, Xpear, has lots of experience in that area, and hopefully he can help these boys along. So they could play really well, or it could go really bad. It's going to be really interesting to see. But the team above them is a team with lots more experience. That's going to be one in the same region as them. It's going to be the Ultimates. Obviously, the last major, they made it to the grand finals. And so everyone's expectations of them went way up, and rightfully so. But then every open after that has kind of been a little flat. They did make this grand final, like I said, but they did get swept by Space Station Gaming. Ultimates are just kind of weird. It's a little confusing because they'll beat NRG and they get swept by SSG. And then they'll lose to Gen G in the last open in top 8, right? So they really had to fight to even make this major. but I'm expecting them to still make top 8 at the major simply because of how well they figured it out at the last land. They could easily make top 8 again if they find their form again, which all three of these players are kind of LAN players, as we could tell from the last LAN. And so my hope is that they'll find that form again and make top 8. Am I expecting them to make the grand final again? No. I'm thinking maybe their peak is probably a top 6, but I'm guessing a top 8 probably going out there, but they could make top 6. But speaking of top 6, we are going to have Team Furia. Lots of people hype up this team a lot. I do think they're good, but Farah in his interview in this last Open, Farah is the coach of Carmine Corp, if you didn't know. He was asked about Furia and if he thinks that they could win a major, and he said, no, I just can't see it. I see them getting maybe top 4, probably top 6, maybe even and a top 8. And I agree with them 100%. This team is super good. They play an aggressive play style. They play a play style that's fun to watch on LAN. They are not afraid of anything. But they don't have the structure like other teams do. They don't have the extra level like other teams do. And I just don't see them making it past top 6. And I think their peak is top 4. But I think they'll finish somewhere around top 6. Yan is obviously amazing. Furia, Drafinho, and Lost are great support players and aggressive themselves. But they just aren't the same 3 players as like the team up as the team above them. Honestly, this is a great example. I'm going to put Team Vitality. Lots of people are also high on Team Vitality still, but they've been flat the whole season. I don't know where this comes from. I know it's hard to bet against Exotic, Monkey Moon, and Zen because all 3 of them are world champions. Monkey Moon, a 2-time world champion. But obviously this chemistry is not working. They play very close together play style, and when they don't execute it perfectly, they are punished a lot, as is evident in this last Open, honestly, against Dignitas when they played them. Dignitas play very far apart. One of the most apart teams in Europe, and Vitality is one of the closest together teams in Europe. And Dignitas won 4-2. Wasn't even too difficult. I think Vitality has been very exposed in that way. And if Vitality do execute their play style, they will be good. But there's just too much confusion on the field when they're close together. They don't comp fast enough. I don't really know what the issue is, but I don't believe that they will have enough time to put it together. Maybe at this major they'll figure it out a little more, but we'll see. Right now I have them 5th, behind Team Falcons. That's not exactly how I wanted that to go. I wanted it to be like this. Team Falcons is a MENA team. Were not looking so good last split. They were disappointing in the major. They went out top 6, which, I mean, top 6 is a disappointment for them. That shows how good they are. And last split, they lost to Twisted Minds in a regional, which kind of knocked them down a little bit or raised Twisted Minds. As you'll notice, Twisted Minds isn't on this list. I think they've lost to teams that they just should never lose to be honest. And Falcons haven't really at all. I think they've made every grand final, I believe, unless they ran into Twisted Minds earlier and lost, but I don't believe that was the case. So this split, they've looked really good. They've beaten the teams they should, and they have insane plot armor. I think they reverse swept twice or came back from down 3-1 or something multiple times. But in the end, they find a way to win. And this Falcons team also very aggressive. They don't play defense, is what people say. They do, but obviously they're an offense-focused team. And so I rate them above Vitality for now, although this could definitely switcheroo at the major because they are definitely really, really close. But for now, I think the number 3 team is honestly a little bit of a gap from Team Falcons, and that team is going to be Dignitas. Dignitas is probably the surprise team of the year. Going into the year after this team was formed, I think people had them rated number 5, number 6, and rightfully so. Apparently, Jack didn't finish on a very good note last season at Worlds. They went out to an OCE team, right? Jorius could never make it past top 8 with his M80 team. And Stizzy didn't have great success in NA. And then even in the first split, they played well, but Stizzy looked uncomfortable. They didn't look like they had figured out their play style quite yet or had been executing it. But man, they have been on a tear since. Jack talks about this all the time, but at the major they actually played really well, I thought, but they ran into really good teams. They had a really unfortunate Swiss, and so I think people underrate them for that reason. And since then, they've been playing super good. They've made 2 finals. They beat KC in Open 2, and they just recently made the finals again. They got swept, but still, they're the only ones that made it. They beat every other team. They haven't had really easy brackets these last 2 regionals, and they've shown that they can still beat those teams. As I was mentioning earlier, they play really far apart. And so when they play, it's not confusing. They don't know who's going for what ball most of the time because they play so far apart. And I think that really helps them, really helps set them apart from other teams. And they demo a lot. That's how they beat KC. There was plenty of demos. I think one game, Atao was demoed like 12 times in one game, which is insane. But yeah, Dignitas right now I have 3. I think a lot of people don't for some reason, but all they've done is prove that they should be here, in my opinion. Maybe I have them a bit high. I might be totally wrong come major time, but it's power rankings. It's how it goes. Number 2 and 1 are going to be pretty obvious, but we'll start with number 2, NRG. It's got to be them. They've looked super dominant until this last Open. They kind of fell apart in the semifinals against Ultimates, but the last 2 Opens, they absolutely dominated. I think Open 1, was it Open 1? Maybe it was Open 2, but they had like a 94% win rate in the region, which is insane. Not too much to say about these 3. I mean, Beast Mode, Atomic, and Daniel are just 3 players that fit well, or 3 players that fit together super well. They help each other's play styles really well. Daniel really holds that back line down. And yeah, Beast Mode has been getting creative again, and when Beast Mode's creative, they're pretty unstoppable. But the other team ahead of them, obviously, it's going to be Carmine Corp. Speaking of domination, they pretty much define it. I think they made every single finals so far this year. They've lost twice to GK and Dignitas, but that's it. That is their only losses, which is insane. This is comparable to Energy last year, but better so far. There's honestly not too much to say about these guys. They're just the best in the world. Atao, Drali, and Vatira are probably 3 of top 5 players in the world, maybe top 8. But they play a play style that is similar to other teams. They just do it better. I mean, they pretty much play it perfectly. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to say about these guys. They're just the best right now until proven otherwise. Until consistently proven otherwise. Obviously, they've been beaten twice, but it's not consistent because Dignitas beat them last Open and they got swept by them this Open. So, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I'm excited for the major. These are my power rankings. Carmine first, Energy second, Dignitas 3, Falcons 4, Vitality 5, Furious 6, Ultimate 7, SSG 8, Gentlemates 9, and Gen G 10. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think this is accurate? Do you agree with me? Am I crazy? Do you have twisted minds on this list? That one was kind of hard for me. Or am I missing any other teams? I thought about putting GK on this list, but it was kind of in that weird spot. So, and they're not going to the majors, so I didn't worry about it too much. But let me know what you guys think, and subscribe and like this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.